The Union confusion speech is 9 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, so it won't be on this program. Obviously, we'll discuss it before and after. Typically, they are forgettable occasions where a president goes up there and brags about all the things he's done and lies about it. And there'll be no bigger liar, serial liar, psychotic liar than Joe Biden. And this speech is being worked on by his propagandists, a.k.a. speechwriters, his campaign, his operatives, and their ilk. They're going to exploit the war that Israel's fighting against Hamas. They're going to lie about abortion in this country. They're going to lie about the border. If only the Republicans would have supported the cockamamie, ridiculous bill they call bipartisan because 3-4 senators fell for it, and even Mitch McConnell voted against it. He really screwed up. They're going to blame Trump. They're going to talk about democracy's at stake. I'm serious, folks. Democracy's at stake. We will lose our country, that I saved our country when I was elected, January 6th. It's all so boring, all so predictable, also Democrat Party. I want to tell you about abortion in America. We've talked about it, but I want to underscore it since it'll be on nonstop display. The word is they're going to have somebody in the gallery who had to leave the state to go to another state to get an abortion. You know what's funny, Mr. Producer? I had to leave my state to go see a cardiologist in another state. Are you aware of that? Oh, yeah. It's true. I literally had to leave my state to go to another state. Yes. Why aren't I in the gallery? Why isn't he calling on me? Good point, Mr. Producer. Oh, well. People have to leave a state a lot of time for all kinds of medical treatment and medical care. I don't view it as a huge burden. If you're going to have an abortion, is it that much of a burden to go to another state? Or should the entire state accommodate the individual? I mean, come on. How hard is it really? We got abortionists in this country. They're ubiquitous. They're everywhere. I'm going to prove it to you, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. You had to leave the state for an abortion? Yeah, I did. People leave states for cancer doctors, for other kinds of specialists, for heart doctors. That's a great thing about America. There's 50 states and some territories, and you can actually get up and go to a place that you believe serves your interests, your needs. You can actually move there. You can actually, at least for now, get in an automobile that works with a combustion engine and drive there. Plus, we have hundreds of millions of dollars poured into Planned Parenthood and other such front organizations that are more than happy to take you to these places. What exactly is the position of the Democrat Party on abortion? They want more abortions? Is that it? Is that it? Less babies, more abortions? Because I'll tell you, I have access to a report that everybody has access to, but I actually do my research. I put it on my social media twice. I used it on Fox once. I've used it on Blaze once. I've used it on radio once, and I'm going to use it again. And for some reason, the knuckleheads, the Republicans on Capitol Hill, don't embrace it, don't read it, don't talk about it. And the organization is a left-wing pro-abortion organization. It's called the Guttmacher Institute, Guttmacher. You don't have to believe me. Check it out. Guttmacher.org. They put out the report. They put it out with a press release. They're not hiding it. So since the Dobbs decision, there have been more abortions in the United States than before. Wow. Those Republicans are really good at blocking abortions. No, they're not. Number of abortions in the United States likely to be higher in 2023 than in 2020. We actually know now that they are. This report came out in January of this year. In the first 10 months of 2023, I'm reading from the text, there were an estimated 878,000 abortions in the formal U.S. healthcare system, 94% as many abortions as were provided In 2020, 930,000. Keep in mind, that's 10 months. So that will exceed 2020. I'm sure the abortionists are thrilled. Approximately 88,000 abortions have been provided in the formal health care system per month so far in 2023. So with 2 months of data yet to be published, it's very likely that the total number of abortions provided in 2023 will substantially exceed 2020 numbers. So what are the abortionists and their supporters in the Democrat Party complaining about? The actual increase in abortions is likely even larger, a left-wing group, that these numbers suggest, because these counts do not include abortions occurring outside the formal health care system, like Planned Parenthood, which are likely to have increased substantially following the implementation of state bans and restrictions. There's also state expansions, of course. Isaac Madal-Zimet, data scientist at the Project, he says an increase in abortion numbers is a positive development if it means people are getting the health care they want and need. Oh, but it's very problematic in this sense. However, folks, despite the fact that abortions are through the roof, like never before, since the Dobbs decision, we know, he says, that many people in 2023 had to overcome immense barriers to access care, often traveling across state lines to do so. Is that an immense hurdle, Mr. Producer? I just said, people go across state lines to go on vacation. They go across state lines to work. They go across state lines maybe to go to a restaurant. They go to cross state lines to get other kind of medical care. I just spoke about my own experience earlier this week. I actually had to leave Virginia and go to Maryland, a place I never want to go to. We have what's called automobiles. We have trucks. We have trains. We have buses. We have airplanes. We have motorcycles. But you see, it's an immense burden. It's an immense barrier. Well, I'm sorry. Maybe we should have people go to their homes, Mr. Producer. Would that be better? I've talked about a home colonoscopy kit. Remember that, Mr. Producer? And I encourage you leftists to go ahead and acquire one and get on with it. There's been no slowdown of abortions in America. There's been no incredible hurdles and barriers, immense barriers to overcome. We have 50 states. This is how it was intended to be. Some states have the death penalty, some don't. Some have income taxes, some don't. Some have this, some have that, in terms of health care and medical care and all the rest of it. And some states are very thrilled and excited to have a burgeoning abortion business. Some states are not. And so those who seek, want, or need abortions, I'm sorry there's this immense barrier of going to a neighboring state, perhaps. But that's the way it is. And I know the radicals and the extremists and the anti-lifers, they want abortion on demand in every corner of the country. That's because they're sick. And they want abortion on demand. They want partial birth abortion. They want abortions 3 seconds before a baby is born. That's okay by them. It's not okay by me. We've had millions and millions and millions of abortions in this country. And the Democrat Party wants you women to think, particularly women in the suburbs, most of whom have never had abortions, but for some reason this is an obsession, that it's become prohibitive, that we have immense barriers to prevent it. It's a lie. It's a lie. The data demonstrates that it's a lie. And I'll try it one more time. Since the Dobbs decision, abortion in the United States has increased significantly. Almost 15%. Almost 15%. We discuss this in a sterile way, in a data way. We discuss it like the liberals want us to discuss it. It's a woman's right to choose. Well, that's a flippant way to talk about eliminating another life that has no voice, none. They can't lobby Congress. They can't bring lawsuits against the Supreme Court. They can't exercise their constitutional rights. They're disposable. I love the scientists, the CDC and their ilk. I love these people that go on TV and tell us about vaccines and COVID and all the rest. Follow the science, they say. And they're never asked. It's amazing. What does the science tell us about another human being, particularly in the last trimester, just to put a fine point on the issue? Is that tissue, or is it a human being? What does the science tell us? What does the science tell us? It tells us it's a human being. Just like the science tells us if you have a penis, you're a male, you have a vagina, you're a female. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I disrupting the apple cart? That's science. Biology, we call it. At least we used to. Now, of course, we're to ignore that science. The science of abortion. We're supposed to ignore that, too. Let me repeat. There's a reason why they don't actually show abortions on television, on PBS, or any documentary, on all the thousands of channels there are. You'll get everything but. Why is that? It's a right to choose, right? It's not a baby, right? It's harmless. It's painless, right? Then show us. But they won't. But you Democrats should be thrilled. Joe Biden, practicing Catholic, a self-hater. Nancy Pelosi, likewise. You're going to hear them wringing their hands and talking about the Republicans want to take a woman's right to choose away. Well, it's ubiquitous. So what the Democrats actually seem to be saying, we don't have enough abortions. We need more. The more, the better. After all, it's not a life, it's a choice. It's not existent unless we say it's existent. You have to twist your mind into pretzels to believe as these vile, immoral, dehumanizing, radical leftists believe. I don't care what your faith is. Follow the science. Follow the data. Don't be a denier.